still have some time to listen to us. It's soon over and you will go for a coffee. I wholeheartedly thank the Journalists and Writers Association Foundation, who is, by the way, an important CSO, a unique one, who holds a consultative status with the ECOSOC of the United Nations. As Joost has just pointed out, I'm a former UN director. I worked in the field, but I also worked in these surroundings. And it was good to be back. It was a kind of pilgrimage since this morning. I was not putting my foot here the last 10 years. So thank you for that. But I learned something from Petra. I know that I have 12 minutes. She says that now the human attention has been reduced to 6 minutes. When I was a student at the university, and we were always told that it's the human attention is 20 minutes, and Petra was saying that it was 12, and now it reduced to 6. Hurry up. But I understand something much more. I mean, this is new to me. The Japanese has developed a method called pechakucha. I don't know if you heard about that. Pechakucha is 6 minutes, exactly 6 minutes. And at the end of the 6 minutes, like Gunnar, they cut the power and you can't talk anymore, you know. But he didn't do that, so it's. So I would do my best to stick to it. I don't like to speak long anyhow, but my topic is Turkey and this wonder story, and it would have been unfair not to touch upon this country, as the majority of the attendance here is from or related to Turkey. So. Very briefly described, until very recently, a world-class success story, economic, political, sociological, an EU candidate, still is, but we don't know where it goes, Selçuk. Role model for the region, for the Arab awakening, the country which gave to the political science the concept of Muslim Democrat after Christian Democrat. So it's a very interesting case which suddenly started to falter. And so this, I would like to ask the question why and how. Of course, it would take much more than 6 or rather 12 minutes to talk about it. But I would concentrate on the press freedom. I think the threat to press freedom in Turkey recently was both a cause and consequence of this post-reformist era where things have started to falter in Turkey. You can put many dates if you wish, but I mean the political observers always, you know, like to point at the 2010 referendum. But I prefer the public protestations of the last year, May, June 2013, which were followed by the disclosure of a massive graft and corruption scandal involving several members of the government that Joost was just mentioning in December last year, which has created an additional pressure upon an already shaky press freedom in Turkey. The government was preparing since years a system in which basic press freedom principles were and still are ignored. Legal provisions, nepotism, monopolistic maneuvers, economic pressure, fiscal threats are extensively used to silence the opposition voices and the media outlets that disagree with the governmental line. So, And as a result, today, Turkey is really a wonderland of jobless journalists. Existing pro-governmental media has developed a systematic disinformation and misinformation, and even an agitprop, agitation propaganda web. And the public has turned more and more to social media and foreign news outlets to get clear and non-falsified information. I see here at the press table that there is a press group and a social media group. That was not existing at my time. These young ladies are sitting on the social media part of it, you know, that this is fantastic. So this is, as a result, today, and according to intergovernmental, non-governmental, and governmental observers, Turkey, unfortunately, is an illiberal, non-free country in terms of press freedom. For Freedom House, for instance, it is a partly free on internet access, not free regarding the press. For Reporters Without Borders, it is ranked 154th out of 179 countries. The Committee to Protect Journalists regularly targets Turkey, unfortunately. And very recently, its executive director tells us, I quote, journalists describe to us a climate of fear characterized by public vilification, legal harassment, government pressure on newsroom, police abuse of reporters covering street protests. Nightmare. As for governments, of course, the US government every year publishes its human rights report, and Turkey is bashed constantly on media freedom in the US's report, but not only. As for the intergovernmental body, OSCE's representative on freedom of press and media criticized Turkish government restrictive measures. The EU, that you all know, in its recent report, openly talks about blanket bans on YouTube and Twitter raised serious concerns, even if later annulled by the Constitutional Court. Intimidating statements by politicians and cases launched against critical journalists. This is these are quotations from the EU report. Ownership structure that I mentioned. These are all recorded by the EU. Well, Turkey, unfortunately, and it's probably our main topic, is a country where citizens don't read much. You know, they don't speak foreign languages. It's very seldom. Some people talk about 7% of the population only, which is very weak, and get informed almost exclusively through national TVs and newspapers. And this is why your taxi driver is not, was not aware of what was happening. Well, yet the country is, of course, has a substantial number of citizens who are misinformed and thus manipulated. Because they have difficulties to get genuine information on what is really happening in the countries. The immediate result is an extreme polarization. It's not a state of war, thank God, but the social peace and democracy in the country is today seriously threatened because of the lack of proper information. So it represents a very representative worst practice, something that people should not, take as an example of an illiberal government using public means to control the media. So what to do? I would like to refer to Jürgen Habermas, someone from the floor has mentioned this morning. Habermas published in '62 already, there was no social media at the time, an important book on Öffentlichkeit, Strukturwandel der Öffentlichkeit. This is a critical investigation and analysis of the public sphere in civil society. And the mass media's role in the public debate, he argues, has shifted at the time already from the dissemination of reliable information, I quote, to the formation of public opinion. Well, he stresses the importance of a vital and functioning Öffentlichkeit, a sphere of critical publicity. It's distinct. It's the critical publicity. I underline it. This is distinct from both the state or the public sphere and the economy, and consists of a broad range of organizations that represent public opinion and interest groups, like here. This is networking. This is part of it. And to counter these developments, and he considers this as a condition sine qua non of a pluralistic democratic debate in an open society that is not entirely dominated by the mass media. I think we have here a good example of it, and just before 52 seconds, I will end up there, Jost. So,
Great.
Thank you.